Get ready to be inspired by the people, stories, and opportunities in Africa. We're a global community of Africans and friends of Africa with no boundaries. Together, we celebrate the continent's successes and help provide solutions to some of its greatest challenges. Impact Africa airs live every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. GMT at listenvisionlive.com. You can also catch previous episodes on iTunes and on the show's website, impactafricaonline.com. Connect with Impact Africa on Twitter and Facebook at @UImpactAfrica. Together, we'll discover that the real Africa is full of amazing talents and great opportunities. Welcome to Impact Africa. Africa has long been associated with needing aid and handouts. Today, you'll learn so much more about this wonderful continent from enlightening stories, people, and ideas. Now, here is your host, Tope Fajin-Basi.
Good morning and welcome to Impact Africa. It's really a pleasure to be here again today. I'm very thankful that we're alive, we're well, and the continent of Africa has got good news to share. And I hope to share some of those today and also share some of the solutions that, some of our colleagues have to some of the pressing challenges that the continent is facing. Before we begin the show, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my mother, Taiwo Fajin-Basi, and all mothers out there, whether you've got kids or you don't have kids and you're just being a mother to somebody. Happy Mother's Day to you. And, today is going to be a very inspiring show, as always. We are going to be talking to some experts on a very pressing issue and a very personal issue for me, childbirth survival. How do we make sure that, mothers survive pregnancy and the infants also survive? Some of my guests are going to be talking about what they're doing to tackle that issue. We will begin, though, with Ije Reads news, and then we would introduce a very new segment that I'm excited about. It's called Destination Africa, to make sure that Africa is on your list when you're thinking about vacation. We're going to be bringing you some very interesting and beautiful places, so don't go away. It's going to be really, really nice. Like I said, we'll start with Ije Reads news, and the first news today is something that is really, really a big deal for me, being an African and an African in the business realm. The global investment bank Credit Suisse has named West African Tidjane Thiam from Cote d'Ivoire as its new CEO. This is a big deal. I was, watching some analysts on CNBC, and they were talking about, what his experience is going to bring and what this means for Credit Suisse. But the big deal for us is because, this is a big bank. Credit Suisse is not a small investment bank. And this is the first time they're having an African, a sub-Saharan African, at the helm of their affairs. Not just Credit Suisse, but also all other investment banks. This is really unheard of. And Tidjane was raised in France. He was educated in France, but he was born in Cote d'Ivoire, and he is also held the post of Minister for Planning and Development in Cote d'Ivoire before. So he's very familiar with the continent. I'm hoping that some of the experience that he would have, again, in this new role would, be a well-meaning one for Africa. So this is really great. From that good news to something very challenging, and that's still on the issue of security. And last week we reported that Boko Haram was still, wreaking havoc in northeast Nigeria, and this week we can report that there was some news about ISIS adopting Boko Haram, as if that's not enough problem, and the Chadian forces were asked to leave one of the towns in Nigeria that they had helped to conquer. I really hope that the government in Nigeria is very focused on solving this issue, and the security of the people is paramount, and that we get some peace very soon, not just in Africa, but in the rest of the world. Because if there's conflict somewhere, there's conflict everywhere else. Well, moving on to good news. Again, this is from South Africa, and IJ promised that she would tune in live from India just to watch me read this news with a straight face. And I'm going to try and read it with a straight face. And that is that some South African doctors have announced that they've put Africa on the map. This is a medical first, and the first penis transplant has been successfully done in South Africa. Yes, you heard me right. The first penis transplant has been done. And before you say that it was done in China in 2006, no. The people in China did it in 2006, but they had to reverse it because there was a psychological problem, and the recipient and his wife in that case had issues, so they had to reverse that transplant. But the South African doctors have performed this successfully, and the 21-year-old patient that has not been named for obvious reasons, had a botched circumcision at a traditional initiation ceremony, and that's how come he got into this problem. But, we're very proud of South Africans that, they've put Africa on a very good map here, that we are the first people that will do this. And considering the fact that South Africans were the first to do the first heart transplant successfully, yes, that's true. It was reported in New York Times. This is really great. This is fantastic. I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of many breakthroughs in Africa medically, because it's very unfortunate that we have, Nigerian patients, also different other African countries where people have to go to India, go to America, go to Britain for medical intervention. If we can have this kind of successful issues, in our continent, this will really, really, really be good for us. So thank you very much, Ije, for that news. You knew I was going to be smiling and, it was going to be awkward for me, but, it's good news all the same. And I want to end the Ije Reads news segment by talking about a lady that I've come to benefit from immensely. Unbelievable. Her name is T. Morgan. She's from Nigeria, so I'm very, very proud. And she has done something that is so unthinkable, unbelievable. She has run 7 marathons in the 7 continents twice. Let me say that again. T. Morgan, a Nigerian, has run 7 marathons back to back in 7 continents twice. When you think about the fact that Nigerians are not known for running marathons, like this is the first time I've ever heard about a Nigerian doing, marathons. So, being so passionate about doing marathons. And now we're not known for this, but she has done it in 7 continents twice. It is unbelievable. And this is somebody who started running because she was suffering from obesity. So she was trying to lose weight. And honestly, I'm going to try and get T on this show, because she needs to tell her story by herself. She needs to inspire you sitting down, in your house right now thinking, how could she even do this? To know that you can do what you want to do. T has a group on Facebook that I'm a part of called Women Empowering Women, WEW, Women Empowering Women. And it's a secret group, but if you holler at me and you're a woman and we confirm that you're a woman, I can see how you get on the group. But this group not only, encourages you to eat well, it also encourages you to stretch beyond what you thought you could do. To look at someone like T, who has been able to do this important big deal, would make me feel like I can run, because I never saw myself as a runner. But looking at her and seeing what she has done, my hat's off to you, T. Morgan. And I'm hoping that maybe now I would run 1 marathon, perhaps. So for more news and for more exciting things happening all over the world, including, Africa, of course, please go to Ije Reads News on Facebook. Ije Reads News. Thank you, Ije. Ije sends this news to us all the way from India. She's a Nigerian, and she's somebody that is very passionate about news. Thank you very much, Ije. So now we're going to go to a brand new segment on Impact Africa. I'm super excited about this segment. It's called Destination Africa. And Destination Africa is brought to you in partnership with A Sweet Stay. I went to a Dine Diaspora event in DC. I think it was sometime last year. And I met Coretta, the lady behind A Sweet Stay. And, she sat beside me at the event. And, we've been talking about how to make Africa top on our list when it comes to, going on vacation. And I'm super excited that we have been able to do this with A Sweet Stay. So over the next several weeks, we'll be bringing different destinations, and we'll be talking about those destinations, where you should go when you go there, some of the things that you should know about those destinations. And today we're going to start with Namibia. Let me tell you, when I was working on this last night, I honestly thought about going to Namibia next week. That's how excited these pictures made me. If you can watch right now, if you're watching and you're seeing these pictures, we'll be showing the slideshow as I talk about Namibia, and these are just beautiful. If you love these pictures and you're really intrigued, please go to asweetstay.com, asweetstay.com, and you can book your vacation packages there. You can get to Namibia. I already told Coretta that I need to go to Namibia this year. I'm serious. I need to go. But so what are some of the interesting things about Namibia, and where are some of the places that you must go to when you go to Namibia? So we're going to start from Kolmanskop. Kolmanskop was formerly a German settlement due to diamond mining. The town declined after World War One, when the diamond field slowly exhausted, and ultimately it was abandoned in 1954. But it's now a popular tourist destination due to the geological forces of the desert that forces visitors to walk through houses knee-deep in sand. Wow. Knee-deep in sand. That is just, that's really interesting. And honestly, I just want to, I want to experience that. Another destination that you should explore when you go to Namibia is the Skeleton Coast Park. That's kind of scary, but it's known for its arid and deadly appearance. Skeleton Coast is associated with famous shipwrecks. Wow, that's scary. And stories, about sailors walking for hundreds of kilometers through the barren Namibian landscape in search of food and water are also very common. Okay, well, that's really freaking me out. But it's now rich with geological and nature features, including gemstone beaches, salt, brain pans, and duns. So, I think this is going to be really an experience. You never really think about this kind of adventures or experience when you're thinking about Africa. But this is new, and I just want to experience it. Just looking at those pictures, I just feel like I need to experience it. This is something I have to do in this lifetime. And so again, we're talking about Namibia, courtesy of A Sweet Stay. The third destination is the Fish River Canyon. It's located south of Namibia. It's the largest canyon in Africa and one of the most visited tourist attractions in Namibia. Again, when you hear about canyon, you hear about, Grand Canyon, Arizona, not the canyon in Namibia. So I'm very excited and very intrigued and looking forward to seeing this part of our heritage as well. And the fourth to do when you go to Namibia is to camp in Spitzkop. Spitzkop is nearly 700 million years old. It's a group of bald granite peaks, and honestly, this is what Coretta said. She said, forget lush forests with birdsong. If you're a climber, a geologist, a rock hound, or a stargazer, Spitzkop is Eden. Wow. I'm none of those things. I'm none of the above. But I want to go to Spitzkop. And perhaps, there might be, some exciting adventures and trying some new things. We want to end, this segment by talking about the Boabata National Park, which is located in the south of Namibia. It's the largest canyon in Africa and the second most visited tourist attraction in Namibia. Again, this is fantastic. This is exciting. I hope the pictures and the stories about these places inspire you to visit Namibia. We want to say a big thank you to A Sweet Stay for sending us these pictures and for creating a travel company that Africans can call their own, and something that can focus on African destinations. When you want to book travel, sometimes you have the mainstream travel companies, they're not really focused on Africa, and they don't really know the destination, they don't know the people. But we're thankful, we're happy that there's something, there's a solution now. So thinking about summer vacation, go to asweetstay.com, asweetstay.com. Thank you very much for listening thus far. We'll be right back to talk about a very, very personal issue, childbirth survival. And I have some amazing guests that will be joining me on the phone. Please don't go away. back to Impact Africa, and I'm very delighted to be joined on the phone by two fantastic young ladies who are, creating solutions to some of the challenging problems that, we find ourselves in our continent of Africa. It's not very strange to hear, somebody was supposed to have a scheduled C-section and they died, or somebody was supposed to have a baby and then something happened, the baby died or the mother died. Maternal and infant mortality in Africa is almost like an epidemic. It's insane. But again, we don't talk about problems without looking at the solutions that people are creating for these problems. And I have two fantastic young ladies who are creating solutions right now. And on the phone with me is Tausi Suedi. She's the co-founder and country team leader of Childbirth Survival International. I also have Rahma Baraka, a registered nurse and who is an active volunteer with Childbirth Survival International. Tausi and Rahma, welcome to Impact Africa.
Thank you so much.
Tausi, I want to start with you. I found your background quite intriguing. I really did. You wanted to be an OBGYN, then you went to study environmental health with a minor in geography and environmental planning, but you're back where your heart is, talking about obstetrics and, pregnancy issues. Was there anything that personally steered you towards this path? Was there anything in your personal experience that made you decide to tackle this of all the problems that Africa has?
Thank you so much, Tope. Yes, indeed. First of all, I believe access to quality health care is a basic and universal human right. It is the duty of those who have it to extend it to those that don't have it. And with that, my personal experience is through my own pregnancies, where I've had 3 children, but the complications were very severe. And had I been in Africa or any other part of the developing world, I don't think I'll be here today to champion causes for other women and children as well to survive.
Wow. And, I definitely appreciate that. As somebody, who has also had some issues that I will talk about very soon, I think that this is what we need in Africa, for people to take their passion, to take their own pain and turn it into a way to, help somebody else in need. So you're very right about that. Rahma, let me go to you. I know you're from Arusha in Tanzania, but you've worked in several organizations in Maryland. Essentially, you've built a life here. You live here. So why are you volunteering your time with CSI? Why are you going back to give back in this regard?
Well, I am being from Tanzania actually and doing nursing. I've always wanted to give back at some point, and my ultimate goal is to actually go back to Tanzania and live there after I'm done with my studies. So to me, being part of CSI was almost a dream come true for me. Wow.
And I hear you loud and clear. Sometimes when we have people volunteering for causes, especially in Africa, the volunteers sometimes think, we're doing the organization a favor. But what I hear you say, and I like that, is that no, this is me. This is a part of me. I'm the one who is privileged to be a part of this. And honestly, I salute you for that. Tausi, let me ask you. People can argue that, especially people who are religious, which is, the case in many African countries, that, a child dying at birth or a mother dying during pregnancy is not an African problem. It's an act of God. It's a trial. After all, I have suffered a stillbirth here in America, but the baby died, but I survived in a very complicated situation. So, people will say, the losses occur everywhere. You cannot do anything about this. But what makes this matter in Africa? What makes this different? Why should we go beyond it being an act of God and actually do something?
Thank you. Many of the deaths that we see in Africa, if you pick any country in sub-Saharan Africa, you can pick Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi, any country in sub-Saharan Africa. If you look at the causes of maternal mortality and newborn mortality, many of those cases are preventable. For instance, postpartum hemorrhage, which is excessive bleeding after birth, is the leading cause of death, the leading cause of maternal mortality. But then if you look further how postpartum hemorrhage can be prevented, it is preventable. But due to lack of medications, due to lack of skilled health providers, due to lack of knowledge, you find that many of these deaths do occur, unfortunately. And in a way, they're also unacceptable. But then it has become a norm for many of these communities, and at the end of the day, they put it into God's hands. That was an act of God. That was an act of God. But, we come in with a lot of education, with a lot of reinforcement, and letting them know that these deaths can be prevented. They don't have to occur. They occur when they're supposed to occur. But if you have a newborn child who cannot breathe and they're not able to resuscitate that baby due to lack of facilities or due to lack of equipment, that is more of a health system issue rather than an act of God.
Wow. And, honestly, I think you're very right about that. We have a duty as people
Correct.
who have access to better healthcare to make sure that things that are preventable, things that, are easy. I see pictures of you all giving supplies, basic supplies that can make a difference between a death and life. And if we can step in and make this happen, I think, we have a duty to do that. Rahma, let me go to you now. What does maternal and child health look like in the communities that you have been volunteering in? When you go back and you volunteer with Childbirth Survival International, what is the picture that you see when you step off the plane?
Well, actually, I have not done any hands-on yet, but I am planning to visit the hospitals there this summer because I will be going home for about 3 weeks. So most of the experiences I have is through Tausi, who mostly does hands-on.
And, and I'm
because
sure...
she has been there more than I have.
Absolutely. And I'll let Tausi take that, because Tausi, you've been, and I've seen pictures of you, on ground. What are some of the things that you've seen? What does the picture look like? I don't want to go to statistics of, they say 1 out of 1 million births. No, that doesn't really tell us anything. I want to hear from you live from being on the ground.
Well, one of our first activities that we did, this was back in Tanzania. Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. Many of the women, due to income, they're not able to go deliver at a health facility. And not only because they don't have the transportation, but then they also have to buy medical supplies, things like gloves and cotton and scissors or razor blades. They have to go with those medical supplies, something that we don't see in industrialized countries. So one of the first activities we did, we helped poor mothers who were delivering at Amana Hospital to be able to go there and deliver by donating childbirth kits, which we bought from here in the U.S., and we took them to Tanzania and donated them to the hospital. And in country, we also bought oxytocin, which we donated to the hospital. And this is a life-saving drug. It is a drug that helps to prevent excessive bleeding after birth. And the nurses were very appreciative. The midwives were very happy. The mothers were super happy because many of them do not have the medical supplies they need. So that's one of the things that CSI has done.
Oh my
on
goodness.
the ground.
Oh my goodness.
Working with pregnant women.
Oh my goodness. I'm just, honestly, I'm shocked to think that somebody wants to go through a procedure that can result in death in an instant with a mistake, and they have to be thinking about things like razor blades. And where are we when it talks about when we need blood transfusion? If we have to go look for razor blades, what if the person needs to get blood and there's an emergency section? This is deep, and this is big. But
yes.
I want to go to you again, Rahma. Rahma, you are a nurse here, and you've done some pretty big deals like dialysis center. You've worked in some very critical places. What are some of those simple things? I know Tausi talked about, razor blades and things like that, but what are some of the simple things that you see from your research so far that we take for granted that hospitals back home can quickly fix, like right now, that can result in a good outcome and prevent some of these issues that we're seeing?
I would think actually it's just first the healthcare accessibility, the ability for mothers and patients to just get there. And I think also, other than the reinforcement of knowledge, we also lack a sense of urgency. You know, we need to be able to assess and distinguish what is urgent and what is emergent and act accordingly. Basically, work on your feet, be quick on your feet. And that would make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely agree with you. To get people to act quickly. I thought that was a Nigerian problem, but I hear you that is perhaps not. It's not a Nigerian problem. Maybe it's an African problem. Tausi,
I believe so.
And
we just need to reinforce to them time equals life.
Yes.
And the faster you move, chances are your outcomes will be more positive.
Absolutely, I agree. And honestly, you cannot. There's just some time that you cannot buy back. That difference between when I have seen a case of somebody very close to me, they got to the hospital, they checked the baby's heartbeat and they said that the baby wasn't breathing, but they were able to get the baby back to life,
Correct.
And sometimes just those few seconds that we don't have, or in a situation like Nigeria where there might be power outage when you need the power most in the labor and delivery ward, and that can result in death. But, Tausi, I really honestly want to applaud you for what you're doing. I think this is just absolutely fantastic. Before I go to, some of the cases that have warmed your heart on, this mission, I want to ask you, beyond challenges, beyond the regular challenge of funding, which is what, every nonprofit grapples with, what are some of those challenges that you face, when you're trying to recruit volunteers from here to go back to Tanzania to give back?
I think it's not a challenge per se. It's a to-do list that we have to go through as an organization, and it has its levels of what to do now and what to do later. But one of the things that's really pressing as a growing nonprofit organization is the finance. We need the funding to be able to make an impact to many more hospitals, to many more communities. Right now, Childbirth Survival International is active in Tanzania and Uganda. But the vision is to go beyond and be able to make an impact, contributing to to ongoing global efforts, contribute to Millennium Development Goals, and make a difference for many of these communities, especially those in very rural areas where they lack health facilities or, they lack skilled health providers. And, while CSI focuses on women and newborns and adolescents, I want to say that we strategically involve and engage boys and men. By first having men on our team in Tanzania and Uganda, we have men on the team, and also being creative to get more men involved, as men play a very key role when it comes to women and children's timely access to health services, information, and how they're used. So it's very important, and it's a challenge in itself because, in sub-Saharan Africa, pregnancy is seen as a woman's business. It's her business, it's her mother's, her sisters, her friends. So the challenge is trying to get these men to be involved, men to be supportive of their spouses. Have religious leaders reinforce the message to men talking to men. So I think if we have more men on board, more men talking about this, more men looking at issues from a very different perspective rather than, this is a woman's business, I think we'll be able to achieve way more than what we're doing right now.
I absolutely agree with you. Honestly, I absolutely agree with you. And, this is definitely a cultural issue that we need to address. I've often heard, and I've taken exception to this, funny enough, when American men say, oh, we are pregnant. I'm like, no, you are not. It's not plural. The woman is pregnant. Your wife is pregnant. We are not pregnant. But I think I have to agree with them here, because you see more men here going to childbirth classes, going to, prenatal sessions with their wives. And it's very important for men to be able to recognize some danger signs. when they're the ones living with these women, they're the ones, they should be a part of this process as well. And I think that cultural shift has to happen. I definitely applaud you from looking at it from that angle, because even I didn't look at it from that angle. I think it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, if there's one heartwarming case that you have seen since you started this, what would that be?
I want to say this was in Uganda when we had a similar event sometime last year, and we reached out to women and we were donating childbirth kits, and it was a collaboration with the local health facility called Royal Profam Clinic, and it's pretty much a maternity reproductive health clinic for women and community members. So we collaborated with them to have a community-based event in the district, in the community. And women came. But one of the things I communicated to the team was, we need men. So how do we get men to come? How do we get their spouses to come? And we said, well, let's do this. The women who come with their spouses will be the ones to get the childbirth kits. And these kits contain all the necessary medical supplies. It worked, because the men came. And, it was very, not only heartwarming, but it showed that, it is possible to have men in these conversations. And not all of them showed up, because some of the women said, my husband said, no, this is no one's business. But the men who did show up, they appreciate it. They're like, oh, wow, my wife is about to have 6 or 7 children.
Wow.
If I have 7 girls, it's okay. I don't need, if I have 2 children, it's okay. So it was heartwarming in that sense. At the end of the session, women coming up to me saying, thank you. We needed this.
Fantastic.
And you don't have to do so much to make a very big impact. You know what I mean? It's the smallest things you do that touch one life that end up changing everything else for that person and their loved ones.
Absolutely. I want to really reiterate that thing you just said. You don't have to heal the entire world, but you can make a difference in somebody's life, one person's life. And I think that is, really what just works for me. The two of you, honestly, are very inspiring. And I hope that Africans in the diaspora who are here, who've got skill sets in education, in healthcare, agriculture, environment, things that, the continent is being challenged on. I hope you've listened to Tausi and Rahma, and you're thinking, you know what, I need to go give back as well. I heard Rahma say, I'm going home this summer. And going home doesn't have to be just eating suya and eating, all our delicacies. It can be about giving back as well. Thank you so much, ladies. You ladies are very inspiring. We're going to take a break right now, but the ladies are going to be back with me because they are competing on the Africa 101 quiz segment today. Don't go away.
Hello.
You are listening to Impact Africa. To connect with the program, please call 1-443-499-2755. That's 1-443-499-2755. You may also send an email to info@impactafricaonline.com or tweet @UImpactAfrica. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back to Impact Africa, and this is, of course, the fun part where I have the answers to the questions, and I put my guest on the hot seat about Africa. After all, we've been saying it, you cannot engage Africa without knowing Africa. And of course, as I always confess, I never know the answers to these questions myself until I see them. Many thanks to Dupe Oyebolu of American University who compiled these questions. And it's only fitting that we talk about a mother of Africa today, Miriam Makeba, because, the theme has been on maternal health. And so Tausi and Rahma are going to be talking to us, or are going to be teaching us about Miriam Makeba. So I'm going to start with you, Tausi. We have 5 minutes to answer all these questions. Tausi, Miriam Makeba was born in which year? A, 1932, B, 1900, C, 1922, D, 1952.
1932.
That is correct. Rahma, no pressure. Miriam Makeba spent the first 6 months of her life in jail because her mother was in prison for selling a homemade beer brewed from malt and corn meal. True or false?
True.
Correct. Wow, you ladies aren't playing at all. Okay, Tausi, back to you. Makeba was diagnosed with breast cancer after A, she gave birth to her daughter at age 17, B, she released a single in 1956, C, she drove across South Africa in a Volkswagen Beetle, D, she collapsed while performing with Harry Belafonte.
A, after she gave birth to her first child.
Yes, fantastic. That is correct. So, Rahma, Makeba's mother, a traditional healer, cared for her when she had breast cancer and she was completely cured. Is that true or false?
True.
That is true. And this is really inspiring for me because I didn't know that she had breast cancer at a young age of 17. And, considering the fact that she's well into her 70s now, it is very interesting that she was completely cured by her mother, a traditional healer. So we shouldn't really be, dismissing our traditional medicine. We've got this gift and we must use it. So,
True.
Makeba featured in, a documentary about what? Which was shot by a filmmaker, Lionel Rogerson. What was the documentary about? A, African musicians. B, apartheid. C, South African hairstyles. D, none of the above. Tausi.
Apartheid.
Apartheid, correct. So, Rahma, what happened after Miriam Makeba testified before the UN about apartheid in South Africa? A, she went home to South Africa but was in hiding for 2 years. B, her right to return to South Africa was revoked. C, her South African citizenship was revoked. D, B, and C.
B and C.
Correct. Wow. You guys are not playing at all. So question number 7 for you, Tausi. How many countries was Miriam Makeba granted honorary citizenship in? A, 10, B, 20, C, 40, D, 80.
A, 10 countries.
10 countries. Wow. I only have what? I need to work hard. Okay. Okay, so Rahma, Miriam Makeba was the UN representative for A, South Africa, B, Zaire, C, Guinea, D, Swaziland.
I want to say Guinea.
Guinea, and that is correct. That is correct. We have about 1 or 2 minutes and you only have 2 questions left, so you can start to breathe easier now.
Thank God.
So, Tausi, this is for you. Which of the following did Miriam Makeba tour with? A, the Beatles, B, Jackson 5, C, Harry Belafonte, D, Whitney Houston.
C.
Harry Belafonte, C. That's correct.
Yes.
That is correct. And the final.
So I get 5 out of 5?
Yes. And so
Awesome.
and no pressure now, Rahma, no pressure. Which of the following is untrue of Miriam Makeba? Which of the following is untrue? Which is false? A, she married 5 times. B, she had 2 children. C, she lived in Guinea for 15 years. D, she was unable to attend her mother's funeral in 1960 because her passport was cancelled by the apartheid government in South Africa?
B, she only had one child.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I was going to say she married 5 times was the false one, but I guess she married.
No, she did actually marry 5 times.
You know, that means I'm not doing badly. I've only been married once. That means, oh, okay, yeah, I still have 4 more times to beat her record. Let's go there. But thank you very much, ladies. You really did very well. And thank you for coming on the show today. I want to say kudos to you again for the work you're doing with Childbirth Survival International. And I want to tell you at home, if you're passionate about maternal and child health and survival and general health, you know, again in Africa, please support Childbirth Survival International. Go to their website, childbirthsurvivalinternational.org. Thank you very much, ladies, and have a pleasant day.
Thank you for having us. Thank you too.
So
Thank you so much, Sophie, and have a great day.
Thank you. We're going to take a brief break and we'll be right back.
You are listening to Impact Africa. To connect with the program, please call 1-443-499-2755. That's 1-443-499-2755. You may also send an email to info@impactafricaonline.com or tweet @UImpactAfrica. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back to Impact Africa, and I definitely salute those fantastic ladies who are doing something so wonderful. As somebody who has been, you know, at this receiving end of excellent medical care when I had, you know, childbirth complications, I have to say that, you know, my heart goes out to women in Africa who don't have the access to the kind of healthcare that we have here in America, and it's very wonderful that these ladies are giving back to our continent, and I'm hoping that if you were impressed and if you're inspired, you will do something to give back as well. And speaking about giving back, I'm going to show you a brief video, and you'll see how you can give back as well. Stay tuned.
I want to take this opportunity to give a big shout out to all the US-based FGGC Sagamore alumni out there. I have to say they represent hard work, commitment, togetherness, and most definitely they represent the wow factor. My understanding is that FGGC Sagamore was top-notch back in the day, you know, and I feel like there's no reason why they cannot be top-notch again, you know, and that's why it's important that you come together and build the alumni organization to give back and revitalize your alma mater and support each other. You know, the great thing is you ladies are already making great difference with the projects thus far that you have done, you know, from donation of books, shelves, air conditioning units to cover medical and surgical bills. That's again what I mean by togetherness, you know, showing love. You know, it's important. So keep up the good work. Let's make 2015 even a better year. And the only way we can do that is for more of you coming together and supporting the organization, you know, to move the US group to the next level. And a great way to do that is by attending on 2015 reunion, you know, that's coming up at the Hyatt in Maryland. That's on 25th of April 2015. So it would be great. Please do support and do attend. Have a great time, ladies. And you guys are amazing. I love the support, the love you are showing to each other and everybody around you, you know. And another thing is Ajayorinyo, you know, have fun. Ajayorin, get it, enjoy it, and may God keep blessing you as you bless others. And may this move from strength to strength. Amen. Thank you. I'm Moeezy and I got your back.
So that was Moeezy. If you're Nigerian and you don't know who Moeezy is, well, I don't know where you live. But he's, you know, saying something that has been the theme of today's show, which is give back. And you don't have to live in Africa to give back to Africa. So for those alumni of Federal Government Girls College Shagamu who are here in the U.S., April 25th at the Hyatt Regency in Bethesda, I hope you will join us to do something to give back to the school, that made us, you know, who we are today. And we look forward to seeing you. Please be there. The second announcement of today is that the Brain Trust Foundation is inviting applications from young graduates for the Makel Mandela Internship Program. It's named in honor of former South African President Nelson Mandela and his wife, Graca Makel. And the deadline for applying is 31st March 2015. This internship is available for a full-time position for 6 months, and the selected candidates would work out of South Africa and also travel across the world as well. The requirements are that you are less than 30 years old and that you are a graduate of a university, you know, a bachelor's degree or equivalent. And you can find more details at thebraintrustfoundation.org, thebraintrustfoundation.org. Follow us at You Impact Africa on Twitter, and we will tweet this as well. So, you know, please submit your applications before March 31st. The final announcement for today is something that is very dear to my heart. United for Kids Foundation, we have announced our lineup of events for the second quarter of the year. Again, this is all about giving back. If you are in Maryland, Virginia, DC area on Saturday, April 18th, please join us at the Roger Carter Center for a screening of our 2015 documentary. And we'll be talking about the work that we did in 2014. You'll be hearing from beneficiaries, and you will be asking us questions about what we plan to do in 2015 and beyond. Again, this is for those of us who are here. I often hear frustration about, oh, you know, I'm in America, I cannot go home, the airfare is a lot. This is a cheap way. We're bringing you affordable ways to really give back to, you know, your home community, wherever you're from, wherever you choose. Even if you're not from, you know, Africa, but you genuinely want to give back, these are opportunities. So April 18th in Maryland, May 8th in Houston, and June 11th in Lagos, Nigeria. And you know, Lagos, Nigeria, we do it and we do it big. So please plan to attend any of these events. Tickets information available at unitedforkidsfoundation.org. unitedforkidsfoundation.org. We will be announcing our Q3 lineup, which includes New York City later on. But please plan to join us April 18th in Maryland, May 8th in Houston, and June 11th in Lagos. Let's heal Nigeria and indeed the world, one child, one heart, and one smile at a time. And those are all the announcements I have for you today. But before I go, I want to again say Happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. Today is Mother's Day, perhaps not in America, but in many African countries. So to all of you who are, you know, acting as mothers to children today, may God bless you and may God reward you. And I also want to give hats off again to T. Morgan, who has run 7 marathons back to back. Again, 7 marathons in 7 continents. She's Nigerian. She's done it twice. And she is the first Nigerian, and the first person I've heard of who has done this. Hats off to you, T. Morgan. I hope to bring you on the show very soon. And finally, I want to say thank you to the lady who made this beautiful outfit I'm wearing, Miriam Brima in Lagos, Nigeria. I really love this. This is one of the best dresses that I have. I'm very proud to be wearing something that was made in Nigeria by a Nigerian. Again, made in Africa by an African. Thank you very much for this beautiful one. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching today, for listening. I hope that you've been inspired to do something to impact Africa today. It's time to stop complaining. It's time to start doing. So the question to ask yourself when you switch off your laptop right now is, what am I doing to impact Africa? And if I'm doing something already, how can I make my impact greater? Until next week, when we come to you with another inspiring edition of Impact Africa, I say good morning and have a pleasant week.
Welcome to Impact Africa. Africa has long been associated with needing aid and handouts. Today, you'll learn so much more about this wonderful continent Thank you for tuning in to Impact Africa. Please join us again next Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. GMT at listenvisionlive.com. Have a good week and keep impacting Africa.